You've probably seen this comment, just go to your local shaper and get a custom. But what does that actually mean? Is it right for you? Stock, 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 custom, custom, custom. After buying way too many boards to mention, about 2/3 of my surfboards are stock boards and about 1/3 are custom boards. In this video, I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of both so that you can make an informed decision. If you are buying surfboards, you're going to know what's better, stock or custom. My first boards were stock. Walked into a shop, pick one, off the rack, go surf. Then I discovered custom orders. The promise, you get a board shaped exactly for you. Your weight, your waves, special colours, tints, fin box placements. And occasionally, I'd find second-hand boards, barely ridden, someone else's experiment that became my perfect match. Over the years, I've mixed all three strategies, and that mix is what's worked for me. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you real wait times from over 50 custom orders, when stock beats custom, and my fastest boards, shaper versus shop. Custom mistakes that have happened for me, and why 2/3 of my boards are stock. My 3 fastest boards ever, 2 of them are custom and 1 stock. Let me show you. We'll start with when custom absolutely works. Fastest board I've ever had, the Album Moonstone Custom, 41.7 kilometers per hour. Second fastest, Sermon Dark Void Custom, 41.4 kilometers per hour. Another fast board was my Amano Twin Pin, 39.4 kilometers per hour. These boards work because the shaper understood exactly what I needed. They were customized to the way I want to ride them and where I want to ride them. They were worth every dollar and worth the wait. Some boards you can only get custom, like this Vouch Quad gun, 8'2". It's for good waves. Or this Dave Parmenter gun, 9'1". You don't generally get guns like this from the shops. Or this MR Freeride replica, limited edition, a very special board. Or this Thomas Posty 12-foot glider, about 100 litres. You don't generally find a triple stringer with balsa glider in stock. This Campbell middle toe 8'8", I've clocked that at 38.7 kilometers per hour. It works in small waves and big waves, and it's built with strong Exoflex construction. I've taken 2 other variants of this to the Maldives. I've also got this Jim Banks Revolution, made in Australia, and it was a bargain. Here's a Lovelace pedestrian ship. It's made of flax, EPS, and it is amazing. And there's the Campbell Twin Cam, a beaut little fish, and it's absolutely hot. This board was supposed to be a vitamin C colour orange with a channel bottom, and instead it came through a mango colour with no channels. In fact, it didn't even have a concave that the original model had, and it was a remake where they were going to replicate the exact same board I had before, but in my new dimensions. But it certainly didn't turn out that way. It's a very different outcome than what I expected. Now, sometimes that's bad and sometimes that's good. Maybe the more modern shape and the ability to put extra fins instead of being a thruster, maybe having that 5 slots and no channels makes this a better all-rounder. Who knows? But I'll never get to know what a larger version of the original board that I ordered would be like because it didn't arrive. So if you go custom, look, the positives are the board can go really well for the conditions. It can look and feel with all the options that you want, exactly how you like it. You've got a great relationship, you're supporting a local business. I love supporting the Australian shapers. It's made for the local conditions, which is often the reason people say go to your local shaper, they know the local waves. The downsides are it can come through wrong, it can take a long time. You might have to be chasing the shaper. I actually keep a spreadsheet of my surfboards, and I made a note of what didn't work out right. I had 14 months was the longest wait. 13 months was the second longest because there was side fins missing. One board was supposed to be 3 months. It took 9 months and it came through the wrong colour. I've had the wrong colour 3 times. This is in 50 boards. Wrong colour 3 times. Wrong bottom contour 2 times. Wrong fins 2 times. The wrong model once. The wrong dimensions 5 times. And the wrong tail 2 times. So what do you do when it comes wrong? Well, you have a chat to the shaper about what you were expecting and what arrived. In several cases, they've had to remake the board to what I actually ordered. In some cases, I've accepted the board based on the fact that maybe it'll be okay, and sometimes they offer some kind of compensation, whether it's a set of fins or a rebate of some kind, but most often it's kind of bad luck. but it can happen. Also, if the shaper is not well known, then you might not get much for resale value. Often I find when I'm selling a board, if it's not a mass market stock board, people don't know it, they're not going to make a big purchase on it because it doesn't have any brand equity whatsoever. Also, the positive is you could have the board fixed by the person who made the board if you deal with a local shaper. But the waiting time is one of the factors, and also cost. It often costs a lot more to have different resin art or change the configuration, aside from just the timing. Let's talk about stock boards from the shops. Here's a stock board that's an absolute winner. This is a Vouch New Evo. It has a single fin with side bites. I remember Bob McTavish saying in a video, the perfect board he would make now is pretty much the old style, single fin but with side bites. It just gives you all that control and speed. This board was available in stock from a fabulous surfboard shop. It's called Keel Surf Supply. Lovely guy called Jason runs that. I ordered it. It was sent to my house within a few days. It is 7/6, 21 3/4, 2 7/8. It is handmade by the absolute legend Paul Hutchinson in Byron Bay in Australia. They supply it with the right fins for the board, which is so critical because I reckon probably 90% of surfers are riding boards with the wrong fins, and I made a ton of videos about that. It's exactly the right dimensions. I love the colour. I love the way it surfs. I've ridden it in cyclone swells. It's the 4th fastest board I've ever surfed. It is the smoothest, the best paddler. It is such a fantastic board, straight out of stock. Turns out the dimensions are exactly the right ones for me, which I wouldn't have necessarily gone and picked like a beige coloured board. But when I actually got the board, this off-white, it's just absolutely beautiful. It'll never show its age either. It won't, sometimes white boards turn a little bit yellow. Well, this one's ready to go. I love this board and I'm so glad I got it. Supporting the Australian economy. It was available instantly. This is a classic example of a stock win, and I'll show you a couple more. Look at this thing from Takeda. It's a 7/8 by 22, 2 3/4. It's 55 litres, and it's a twin. There is no way I would have ordered this colour. Look at it. It's like an ice cream truck. That's what I call it. It's got its contemporary single into double concave. It used to have fixed fins. They were fixed uprights. Unfortunately, they got destroyed in a little motorcycling accident, but now it's got futures boxes and I ride it with half keels, and it's even better. It has quite a few little impressions because I've ridden it a lot. This thing works in 1/2 foot all the way up to 7 feet. I've taken it out. I've had screamers at the points. It will just paddle around in any conditions, no matter if it's crowded or empty. They see you coming, that's for sure. But it's basically outperformed the CI Mid and all the other contenders I've put against it, and I've kept this one and sold a lot of others. I've listed my Thomas Longfish for sale because it can't compete with this one. It's beaten the Vouch Midfish even. I just keep coming back to this board. It was actually someone else's purchase, and a guy put it up on Instagram and said this one's available, and I just snapped it up. And so sometimes an impulse stock purchase can be a surprise for you. This is a Gatto Acid Drop 710. I'm running a Ryan Lovelace 8.5 inch True Aims fin. This is my sort of step up single fin for good point waves. It's incredible. I got it from the shop, also from Keel Surf. Took it out to Manly Bower, paddled into the first big wave that came through, took off, and I was just in love from that first wave. This is a great board. I've had several acid drops. I had a 611, a 7.4, and this one, and I sold the others to keep this. This is the winning size for me in this type of board. It is a classic outline. It's got that rolled entry and this sort of double V concave through the middle and out the back into a V. A sublime board. It was in stock. I love that it's just white. It's really an amazing stock purchase. Speaking of the mids, this CI Mid Twin, it is a perfect example of a stock board. You're going to find it in stock everywhere. It is so proven and tested and R&D'd, and you see Devon Howard and Mikey February riding these things. They're really well made. This was actually made in Australia. It's got a beautiful resin pigment finish. It's got such a dependable shape, that contour on it, the rails, the balance of it, of course it works. And I bought it as a reference board, but it's actually really well priced. I could sell it again tomorrow on Marketplace instantly because everyone knows what it is. Everyone wants one. There's a huge market secondhand. This one is 7.1, so it's 47.8 litres. I've ridden this in a range of conditions. It's a really great stock purchase. This is like the easy, safe, get it today, surf it today type stock purchase that most people would be familiar with. And while there are boards like this out there competing with shapers, this is really like as good as it gets for high quality, almost like custom level production, but in a off the rack board. I've got other stock winners. This Simon Shapes Quig, $1,233. It's one of my best boards. It's a high performance egg with a really edgy feel. I bought it online. I never would have thought to order this custom, and it's perfect. Also the Sermon Dark Void. It was staring at me while I had a coffee in my local town. 6'6", got it from the coffee shop. I call this my coffee shop board. I took it to the Maldives and then I ordered a larger one for my perfect 2-board travel quiver. An amazing board. What these all taught me is that shops give you access to proven designs, dimensions the shaper has dialed in, and you can surf it tomorrow, not in 3 months. You can see what you're getting, put it under your arm, decide if you like it, and try designs you might not have thought to order. Shops sometimes have sales as well. You can get really good deals. Sometimes I can buy a board for half price and sell it again for the same price. No waiting, good value, great resale. And also sometimes they do carry stock from shapers, so you can still get a really cool board like the John Simon. Fast, rare, very unknown in Australia, but it was available on stock online. Custom level shaping, stock availability, I think that's the best of both worlds. So 2/3 of my boards came from shops. I don't buy too many secondhand boards, but some of the ones I bought were absolutely amazing. A 710 red Bonza from Hawaii, from the Campbell brothers. G2 triple stringer McTavish, which I saw coming out from a coffee at Manly. I bought it, rode it, sold it for a profit to a McTavish fanboy. I also got a light bender, an album light bender. I saw Cale Brock appointed it as the winner. Someone I know was selling one after riding it a couple of times. I bought it, rode it, sold it for the exact same amount I paid for it, and I got to try it. So Marketplace is great if you're on a budget, or if you see something that you know is good value, or you just want to try something. That is a great place. I was lucky to find this Wayne Lynch in a classified ad. This board was actually made in, around about 2000. It's probably 25 years old now. And this surfs incredibly well as a single fin. I was probably brave to surf it because it was quite expensive, but it's a limited edition, number 4 of 50. I don't think he ever made the 50, but I wanted to try this. So I know now where I can buy Wayne Lynch's brand new, but back then when I bought this quite some time ago, I didn't know that you could even buy a Wayne Lynch new anymore. So I'm thankful that I got this secondhand. I've been surfing it. It's definitely a keeper and an amazing reference board. I've actually had shapers borrow it because they wanted to get the floor plan off this board. So it's also notably stringerless. It's a stringerless board like they used to do back in the day, quite a lot of stringerless with this green foam. So it's an amazing board. But that's the use case for buying a secondhand board. So you should buy custom boards if you already know the board you want and you want specific dimensions, colours, shapes, you're happy to wait, you want a relationship and you want to support the local community, and also you want a board that surfs well in your local conditions. You would buy stock if you need a board right now, you are trying something for the first time, you want to go with something that's well known, you want to minimise the risk of resale, and you cannot wait. You buy a second-hand board if you see something that just looks like a bargain, or it's exactly what you would like to try, or you didn't think that you'd try it, but Facebook thinks you should try it. Maybe it's calling you. That could be a great option for you as well. I'm curious, have you ordered a custom board and it didn't come the way you want, or it took too long, or was it exactly right? Is it the best board you've ever surfed in your life? For me, the top few fastest boards I've ever surfed were custom. I still have about 1/3 of my boards are custom boards, but I also have 2/3 that are stock because they were ready now, they were well priced, they were good boards, and I've kept them in the quiver. So over to you. Give me a comment below. What's been your best board, stock or custom?